In the vast expanse of the universe, the Galactic Arena is not merely a battleground where warriors prove their strength. It stands as the ultimate symbol of pride and power. Centuries have passed, yet its significance remains unchanged. A space where supremacy is validated, and dreams either ascend to legendary status or are crushed beneath the might of the galaxy's finest warriors. Built on the neutral planet of Ziones, the crossroads of interstellar trade routes, the arena shines like a jewel in the dark void of space. With its colossal size, it is equipped with the most advanced technologies, from terrain transforming systems and simulated environments to live broadcast screens that reach millions of planets. The arena's stands are a gathering place for every stratum of the universe, from powerful emperors and wealthy merchants to ordinary soldiers seeking inspiration. All eyes turn to this place, for every match is not just about individuals, but also a clash of civilizations. The participants in the arena are no ordinary beings. They are the elites of their planets, handpicked through countless life and death trials. The Zyrathians, renowned for their bodies encased in impenetrable natural armor, unleash storm-like offensive strategies. The Valtrans, wielding advanced technology, fight alongside remotely controlled suits capable of instant self-repair. Then there are the Cathor, a species of super-intelligent beings who rely on meticulous strategies and an uncanny ability to predict their opponents' moves. And yet, whenever Earth is mentioned, the galaxy erupts in laughter. The small blue planet, home to a civilization often dismissed as young, has never been considered a worthy competitor. Humanity's appearances in the arena's history have always ended in humiliating defeat. Their opponents surpass them not only in physical prowess, but also in technological advancements and combat experience. Mockery of humanity is widespread. In live commentaries, analysts often use phrases like the primitive species performance or a charity match with derision. Earth is not just ridiculed for its failures, but also for its relentless, unyielding hope. Despite countless defeats, humanity continues to send its warriors to participate. To other civilizations, this is viewed as stubborn foolishness. But to humans, it represents perseverance, a refusal to give up no matter the odds. Beneath the surface, the contempt for Earth does not stem solely from arrogance, but also from a quiet unease. Although weaker, humanity possesses a trait that unsettles other species: their capacity for rapid adaptation. While other warriors rely solely on strength, technology, or intelligence, humans fight differently. They learn from failure. With each loss, humanity does not merely endure, but discovers ways to improve. Despite the ridicule, their silent progress cannot be ignored. Humanity once harbored great hopes when its first representatives stepped into the Galactic Arena, carrying the pride of Earth. They were elite soldiers, fearless explorers, chosen from millions to face the strongest warriors in the universe. But what followed was a series of disastrous defeats, each one shredding humanity's sense of pride. The Zyrathians, living in environments with gravity 10 times stronger than Earth's, could crush their opponents with a single punch. The Cathor, with their superior intelligence, rarely needed to move, effortlessly controlling the battlefield with intricate strategies and an uncanny understanding of their opponent's psyche. Meanwhile, the Valtrans, armed with unparalleled technology, transformed hand-to-hand combat into dazzling showcases of automated mechanical suits. In comparison, Earth's warriors seemed like amateurs out of place in a game they were never meant to play. The battles often ended swiftly. Earth's representatives, despite rigorous training, were defeated before they could fully grasp their opponent's tactics. A Zyrathian punch felt like an earthquake, shattering even the most advanced armor humanity could muster. A Voltron suit, with its self-repair capabilities, rendered human efforts at offense meaningless. The memories of these defeats left scars on the minds of Earth spectators, further deepening the chasm between humanity and the other civilizations. Galactic civilizations, particularly dominant races like the Zyrathians and Valtrans, never ceased mocking humanity. Toddlers taking their first steps, they sneered. How can they possibly compare to seasoned warriors who have conquered thousands of planets? In cosmic bars and post-match commentaries, Earth's failures were recounted as humorous anecdotes. Some even regarded Earth's fighters as easy prey, ideal for training new recruits. But humanity's helplessness wasn't solely rooted in their lack of physical strength or technology. It also stemmed from their ignorance of other civilizations. While the Kothor spent decades studying the psychology of their adversaries, Earth's warriors charged into battles blinded by pride, believing that courage and determination alone were enough. They failed to realize that the arena was not just a stage for brute strength, but also a battlefield for strategy, adaptability, and precision. One glaring weakness was humanity's lack of unity. While other civilizations fought with a collective goal to uphold their race's honor and dominance, humans were divided by conflicting ideologies. Powerful nations on Earth poured resources into sending their own representatives, rather than collaborating to create the best possible warriors. This fragmentation left humanity vulnerable and weaker than ever. Their helplessness was further evident in their response to defeat. Instead of learning from other civilizations, humanity sank into despair and insecurity. Earth scientists worked tirelessly to improve technology, but they were chasing their own shadow, as everything they developed fell far behind the advancements of other races. Meanwhile, their fighters grew doubtful of their abilities, losing faith in the very purpose of their battles. And yet, amidst this helplessness, a faint glimmer of hope remained. A few individuals, despite their losses, refused to give up. They believed failure wasn't the end, but a chance to learn. They began asking questions. Why does humanity always fail? Is physical strength and technology everything? Or is there something else, something yet to be discovered, that humanity has overlooked? The Galactic Arena shimmered with dazzling lights, reverberating with the cheers of millions of spectators from countless species across the universe. Amid this electrifying atmosphere, the appearance of a small, unassuming human, dressed in simple robes and bearing a quiet demeanor, went largely unnoticed. He carried no weapons, wore no advanced technological armor, and exuded none of the commanding presence of a warrior. He was a monk of the Shallan order, an ancient sect nearly forgotten even on Earth. The monk walked slowly, his eyes half closed as if detached from the chaos around him. His expression held neither fear nor anxiety, but radiated profound calm. To the audience, his arrival was nothing more than the prelude to another laughable attempt by Earth to reclaim its dignity through inevitable failure. In truth, the monk's appearance was no coincidence. The Shallan order had long believed that true strength lay not in muscle or technology, but in the harmony between mind and body. For centuries, they had lived in seclusion atop towering peaks, where thin air and harsh conditions honed human resilience to its peak. They sought neither fame nor involvement in petty conflicts. But when Earth faced universal ridicule, the Shallan decided to send a representative not to win, but to prove that humanity still had something of value. The monk's first opponent was Gorth, a giant warrior from the planet Hegros, where gravity 10 times that of Earth forged its inhabitants into living weapons. Gorth stepped into the arena with a thunderous roar, each footstep shaking the ground. The crowd erupted, anticipating a swift and decisive victory for Gorth. The monk remained motionless, standing with his hands clasped before him. Gorth charged with incredible speed, his massive fist hurtling toward the monk. But in a split second, the monk sidestepped gracefully, leaving Gorth's mighty punch to strike nothing but air. The monk did not counterattack, merely maintaining perfect balance as he moved lightly, rendering Gorth's power futile. The audience gasped in astonishment. For the first time, they witnessed an Earth warrior who was not immediately defeated. The atmosphere in the arena shifted, from mockery to curiosity. Frustrated, Gorth unleashed an even fiercer assault, but all his efforts proved fruitless. The monk fought unconventionally, using Gorth's aggression and strength against him, turning the Hegrosian warrior into his own worst enemy. A poorly executed strike caused Gorath to stumble. With a subtle pivot, the monk used Gorath's momentum to send him crashing to the ground. The move caused no physical harm, but dealt a severe blow to Gorath's pride. Furious, Gorath roared, but the referee intervened, declaring the monk the victor. News of the monk's unexpected victory spread rapidly. Yet, rather than celebrating, he quietly exited the arena, his expression unchanged. The crowd was left bewildered. How could such a small, weaponless human triumph over a giant like Gorath? Subsequent matches further demonstrated the monk's extraordinary abilities. His opponents came from diverse civilizations, boasting overwhelming strength or cutting-edge technology, yet they all fell before the monk's calm demeanor and masterful techniques. He didn't simply fight. He controlled the rhythm of each match, reading his adversaries' moves and exploiting their slightest mistakes to turn their strengths into vulnerabilities. In a match against Xykra, a Voltran warrior equipped with advanced technological armor, the monk astonished spectators by disabling key mechanisms in Xykra's suit with just a few simple movements. Xykra, who had relied entirely on the superiority of his technology, was defeated not by brute force, but by human ingenuity and adaptability. With each victory, awe and respect for the monk grew, but he never granted interviews or elaborated on his philosophy. When asked, he would merely respond, "Strength is not the most important thing. Understanding yourself and your opponent is the true key." The monk's presence began to shift perceptions of humanity within the arena. Once scorned, humans were now seen as a species with unique potential and qualities that other civilizations lacked. Though the road ahead remained long, the monk had taken the first step toward restoring Earth honor, a quiet but profoundly meaningful step. The universe seemed to pause for a moment as the monk stepped into the testing area. It wasn't an official arena, but a small training ground where new warriors had to prove their worth before entering the real stage. The judges, formidable entities from the most powerful civilizations, watched him with cold, skeptical eyes. "Your kind has tried and failed too many times. What difference will one more make?" sneered one judge, a crystalline being from the planet Solanaris, his voice dripping with contempt. The monk remained silent, bowing his head with serene composure. He stepped into position, gently adjusting his simple robes. His presence starkly contrasted with the other combatants, who donned heavy metallic armor or wielded dazzling high-tech weapons. For the monk, everything began from within his mind, his breath, and his focus. The first test was a series of challenges, measuring physical endurance and reflexes. A fleet of combat robots, programmed to test evasion and reaction speed, rushed toward him. They moved faster than any living creature, and each strike was calibrated to incapacitate instantly. As the test commenced, the robots blurred into motion, charging at the monk. The spectators, observing through monitors, had seen the scene many times before. Most candidates failed in the first round, defeated before they could even comprehend what was happening. But the monk was different. He didn't respond by fighting back or trying to outpace the robots. Instead, he stood still, closing his eyes briefly, listening to the metallic hum of the machines hurtling toward him. When the first robot threw a punch, he shifted lightly to the side, just enough for the strike to graze past his shoulder. The room fell silent. His subsequent evasions resembled a graceful dance, fluid, precise, and devoid of unnecessary movement. The faster the robots moved, the calmer he became. His eyes remained tranquil, as if he were meditating rather than facing a life-threatening test. The climax came when all 5 robots attacked simultaneously. With a single elegant turn, the monk caused the machines to collide and self-destruct. That pivot was more than a simple dodge. It was a masterful combination of calculation, physical discipline, and unyielding mental focus. The next challenge tested intelligence and strategy. Candidates were placed in a simulated environment where they had to navigate a labyrinth filled with traps and virtual enemies. The only rule: no technological tools were allowed, relying solely on the power of the mind. The monk entered the maze without a hint of anxiety. The virtual enemy's ever-shifting energy constructs launched relentless assaults, but he wasn't drawn into their chaos. Instead of fighting or entirely evading them, he guided the constructs into traps embedded in the environment. In one instance, faced with a massive machine blocking his path, he didn't attempt to destroy it. Instead, he noticed a faint energy flow at its rear, leading to its operational core. With a gentle touch at the critical point, he dismantled the system, causing the entire mechanism to collapse. Every action he took embodied the philosophy of Shalon. Strength isn't about brute force, but understanding and utilizing the world around you. The harmony between one's inner self and the external environment was the ultimate weapon. When the test concluded, the monk stood before the judges, calmly awaiting their verdict. A profound silence lingered, as though the entire universe held its breath. "We were wrong," said the Solinar's judge, the one who had mocked him earlier. "Humanity is not merely a fragile species. They possess something other civilizations lack, the ability to harness strength from within." However, some judges remain skeptical. These tests are only the beginning. A true warrior must prove themselves in the arena. There, you'll have no chance to evade or rely on tricks. The monk smiled faintly, bowing as he replied, "I have nothing to prove, but if the arena calls for me, I will answer." This event quickly spread across planetary systems, sparking intense debates. Some civilizations began to reevaluate their perception of humanity, while others dismissed the monk's success as sheer luck. Regardless, the monk paid no mind to the clamor. For him, the goal was never to prove humanity's superiority, but to inspire respect for the values of inner strength, intellect, and harmony. On the high peaks of the Shalon Order, where the monk had spent decades meditating, he had learned that true power did not lie in domination, but in profound understanding of oneself and the world. Now, he brought that philosophy before the eyes of the universe, quiet yet sharp, like water carving through stone with patience. The monk demonstrated that sometimes the greatest feats are not in what we can destroy, but in what we can harmonize with and overcome. In the vast expanse of the Intergalactic Arena, where every light and every echo resonated among the stars, the Zen Master from Earth stepped forward with a serene demeanor. The other warriors, hailing from distant planets, donned armor forged from rare metals and powered by advanced science. In contrast, the Zen Master wore only a simple fabric robe, unarmed, his gaze deep and infinite like the farthest stars. From the very first battle, this stark contrast captured the attention of millions of viewers across the universe. They were curious to see how long this seemingly insignificant man from a disregarded planet could survive against the strongest combatants. The Zen Master's first opponent was a warrior from the planet Gronox, where gravity was 3 times that of Earth. This towering giant stood over 3 meters tall, with bulging muscles and a track record of dozens of victories. Gronox stepped into the arena with a deafening roar, his massive body encased in thick armor and wielding a giant plasma-powered mace. In stark contrast to Gronox's ferocity, the Zen Master stood still, hands clasped behind his back, his expression calm. When the bell signaling the start of the match rang out, Gronox charged immediately, his mace raised high with enough force to shatter a boulder. Yet, rather than retaliating or panicking like others before him, the Zen Master simply moved lightly. His movements were like a gentle breeze. In the blink of an eye, the heavy mace slammed into the ground, missing its target. Every time Gronox attacked, the Zen Master evaded with a single step or a slight tilt of his body. The audience, initially smirking in derision, fell silent, their eyes fixated in amazement at each of his effortless dodges. The Zen Master's counterattack did not rely on brute force. When Gronox lost balance after an overextended strike, the Master merely placed his hand lightly on the giant's arm, using Gronox's momentum and strength against him. The result was a spectacular fall that left the entire arena in stunned silence. Without landing a single strike, the Zen Master had turned his opponent's strength into his weakness. This was the first lesson he imparted. True power lies not in muscle or technology, but in understanding and controlling the situation. The following battles further exemplified the philosophy of Shalan. His second opponent was an energy-based entity from the planet Litherus, capable of shapeshifting and attacking at incredible speeds. Each strike left behind dazzling trails of light that disoriented and blinded enemies. But the Zen Master was unfazed by the illusions or the speed. He closed his eyes, listening to the faintest sounds and feeling the subtle shifts in the air. By focusing on his breath and maintaining a clear mind, he pinpointed the true location of his opponent and countered with precise movements. The audience watched in awe as the master used his robe as a tool. It swirled in the air, entangling the enemy and locking it in place with a perfect motion, as if they were performing an ancient dance. Once again, the Zen Master emerged victorious without resorting to violence. However, his challenges were not limited to the opponents in the arena. Many civilizations refused to accept that a human could outshine their warriors. Schemes and traps were laid before each match to ensure he would not advance further. Despite these obstacles, the Zen Master remained unshaken. He fought not only on the battlefield, but also in the hearts of the spectators. Each victory served as a testament to the philosophy that calmness and patience could triumph over any plot. One of the most unforgettable moments came when he faced a creature from Orovian, renowned for its ability to manipulate the minds of its opponents. This being conjured illusions, trapping the Zen Master in a maze filled with haunting images of humanity's past failures, mocking laughter from other civilizations, and an overwhelming sense of solitude. Yet, the Zen Master, fortified by decades of meditation and inner discipline, confronted the illusions head-on. He recognized them as mere projections of the mind and gradually found his way out of the maze. The match ended to the shock of all. No one had believed a human could overcome the psychic powers of Orovian. Every battle fought by the Zen Master was not merely a contest, but a lesson for the entire universe. The spectators began to change their perception of humanity. Once viewed as fragile creatures reliant on the technology of more advanced civilizations, humans were now seen as beings with immense untapped potential, rooted in simplicity, wisdom, patience, and an indomitable spirit. When the Zen Master left the arena after each victory, he never displayed arrogance or pride. He simply bowed to the audience, his gaze quiet yet resolute. For him, the goal was not personal glory but to demonstrate a profound truth, that humanity, small as it might seem in the grand cosmos, could stand as a symbol of harmony between mind and strength. At the pinnacle of the arena, the Zen Master fought not for recognition alone, but to open a new chapter for humankind, a chapter of confidence, intelligence, and the relentless drive to transcend limits. The Zen Master stood in the center of the Intergalactic Arena, not merely to fight but as a storyteller, using his body and philosophy to convey profound truths. Every step, every movement carried a deep message that strength was not everything, and victory was not solely the product of violence. After each battle, the spectators, who initially came for the spectacle of brutal clashes, began to perceive something different. The Zen Master's battles were not loud or destructive. They resembled a performance of art of perfect balance between reason and action. His opponents grew increasingly fearsome. On one occasion, he faced an entity from Corian Prime, an ancient civilization famed for training its warriors in the art of killing from a young age. The Corian warrior, clad in resplendent golden armor, entered the arena like a deity, every step resonating with the thunderous cheers of the crowd. The battle began with strikes as swift as lightning. Each slash of the Corian's plasma blade cracked the ground beneath their feet. Yet, the Zen Master remained unfazed. He neither attacked recklessly nor defended hastily. Instead, he observed, sensed every move, and exploited even the smallest mistakes. A decisive moment came when the Corian warrior unleashed a powerful strike meant to end the fight. Instead of evading, the Zen Master moved into the warrior's blind spot. With a graceful spin, He locked the opponent's arm, disarming them of their plasma blade. For the first time, a Korean warrior fell without sustaining any significant injury. Following the match, spectators from across the galaxy began to view humanity in an entirely new light. Previously, they came to the arena for the thrill of violent clashes. Now, they sat in silence, striving to comprehend the Zen Master's every action. He's not just fighting. He's teaching us something, a spectator on the planet, Zither remarked to those around them. Indeed, from distant worlds, civilizations that once scorned humanity began discussing the philosophy of Shalon. Lectures and seminars on the philosophy quickly emerged across the galaxy. People from various planets began practicing meditation, focusing on inner balance rather than solely prioritizing physical strength or technological superiority. However, the spread of Shalon's philosophy was not without challenges. Many civilizations, especially those that valued violence and power, saw it as a threat to their dominance. A council on Dragon, one of the ruling civilizations of the arena, convened its military leaders. If this philosophy spreads, it will undermine the order we've upheld for millennia. We cannot allow an earthling, a mere Zen master, to do this, a general roared. Plots began to take shape. In a subsequent match, the Zen Master was paired against a massive creature from Virak, where warriors were enhanced with advanced combat technology. This was no fair fight, it was a disguised assassination attempt. But the Zen Master, with sharp eyes and an unshakable spirit, sensed the trap long before the match began. He fought not only with skill but also with intelligence and the ability to anticipate his opponent's moves. Throughout the battle, he kept moving, using the arena space to limit the creature's strength. After more than an hour of intense combat, the colossal opponent collapsed, not from being defeated, but from exhaustion, unable to touch the Zen Master even once. The Zen Master's battle was not only against his opponents, but also within the hearts of the spectators. The once divided crowd, cheering for violent strength, gradually united in thunderous applause for finesse and intellect. The image of the Zen Master standing silently, hands clasped behind his back, before a sea of cheering onlookers became a symbol of transformation. The Intergalactic Arena, once a symbol of dominance, began to evolve into a venue for the exchange of ideas and values. The philosophy of Shalon not only changed how warriors fought, but also opened a new door for the entire galaxy, a door leading to peace, balance, and understanding. The grand finale of the Intergalactic Arena drew unparalleled attention. Millions of beings from across the galaxy gathered to witness what was proclaimed the greatest battle in history. Earth, once scorned and ridiculed, now placed its hopes entirely in the Zen Master. But his opponent was no ordinary warrior. The undefeated champion, Helzer, hailed from Draxon, a planet where gravity was 10 times that of Earth. With a colossal frame, muscles like steel and piercing red eyes, Helzer struck fear into even the bravest of fighters. He was not only physically powerful, but also equipped with advanced energy armor designed to absorb and counter any attack. Furthermore, centuries of combat experience had solidified his reputation as an invincible legend. As Helzer stepped into the arena, his overwhelming aura ignited a deafening roar from the crowd. Yet the Zen Master, clad in his simple robes, stood unshaken. He remained still, eyes half closed, as if attuned to the rhythm of the universe. The gong signaled the start of the battle. Helzer charged forward like a storm, his massive fist slamming into the ground and sending shockwaves rippling through the arena. The Zen Master evaded with serene precision, his movements light as a dance amidst the chaos. Helzer roared, unleashing a flurry of powerful attacks, but the Zen Master made no attempt to strike back. Instead, he moved in a circular pattern, gradually closing the distance between himself and Helzer. The crowd, initially restless, began to murmur in disappointment, thinking the Zen Master was avoiding a true fight. But Helzer sensed something unusual. The calm, deliberate rhythm of the Zen Master's movements was not fear, it was strategy. No matter how fast or strong Helzer was, he couldn't land a single hit. Midway through the battle, the Zen Master abruptly changed tactics. He intercepted one of Helzer's punches, using a graceful spin to redirect the force and unbalance his opponent. For the first time in his career, the Draxan champion faltered. "What are you doing?" Helzer bellowed, bewildered by the futility of his attacks. The Zen Master, his voice calm yet commanding, replied, "Your strength is your greatest burden. By relying solely on it, you blind yourself to other possibilities." His words struck a nerve. The crowd, once roaring, fell silent as they watched intently. Helzer grew impatient, activating his energy armor. He unleashed a massive surge of energy aimed directly at the Zen Master. But instead of resisting, the Zen Master took a deep breath and stepped into the flow of energy, using his body's balance to redirect it harmlessly away. Helzer was stunned. For the first time, he felt fear not of the Zen Master's strength, but of his unwavering composure and intellect. Sensing the moment, the Zen Master advanced not to attack, but to immobilize. With a series of fluid, precise maneuvers, he subdued Helzer completely. A final disabling touch to the energy armor rendered Helzer incapable of further combat. The gong rang, signaling the end of the battle. The arena erupted in an unprecedented wave of cheers. Helzer, once deemed unbeatable, knelt before the Zen Master. Yet the Zen Master, instead of gloating, extended a hand to help his opponent rise. "Victory is not the end," the Zen Master said. "It is the beginning of transformation." Helzer met his gaze, not with anger, but with newfound respect. As the Zen Master stood in the center of the arena, the lights illuminated him as a symbol of hope. For the first time, Earth was acknowledged as a worthy force in the galaxy. But this victory was not his alone. It belonged to all of humanity, a testament to their will, intellect, and adaptability. The final battle did not merely defeat the strongest opponent, but awakened the galaxy to a profound truth. True strength lies not in muscles or technology, but in the soul, the will, and the patience to endure. The Zen Master left the arena, but his mark remained. His victory was more than just the outcome of a battle. It became a symbol of humanity's latent strength. From a planet once mocked and underestimated, Earth had risen to a position of respect across civilizations. Planets that once deemed themselves superior began to reconsider. From Draxan, the warrior civilization, to Eldoria, the hub of science and art, all realized their error in valuing only material strength. They saw that the humility, discipline, and wisdom of the Zen Master were the decisive factors surpassing technology and brute force. Earth quickly became a destination for beings from across the galaxy, not for its resources, but for a philosophy that had reshaped the universe. Earth's people, initially astonished and wary, began to welcome their newfound visitors. Exchanges of knowledge flourished. Scholars from other planets came to learn the philosophy of Shalon, the balance between body, mind, and nature, a principle they had long forgotten over centuries. The philosophy of Shalon transcended the battlefield. In education, civilizations reformed their teaching methods. Children were encouraged to understand themselves before mastering the world around them. Lessons on patience and balance became integral to education systems across many planets. In the arts, paintings, sculptures, and songs inspired by the Zen Master's story gained immense popularity. A colossal statue depicting him standing serenely in the center of the arena, his gaze filled with wisdom, was erected at the heart of the Intergalactic Arena, a symbol of resilience. Even science was not immune to this influence. Research into the untapped potential of the mind and the balance within nature led to breakthroughs far beyond conventional technology. Scientists on Calvern, a planet renowned for artificial intelligence, developed a new generation of technologies based on principles of harmony rather than force, creating machines that were both efficient and environmentally friendly. The Zen Master's journey also inspired young warriors on Earth. Those once pressured to prove their physical strength began to train their minds and seek balance. Many from other planets even chose to stay on Earth to study and live by the principles of Shalon. This led to the formation of an unprecedentedly diverse community on the blue planet, a melting pot of species, sharing knowledge, culture, and progress. Another remarkable change was the relationship between planets. Previously, the Intergalactic Arena was a battleground for proving dominance. After the Zen Master's victory, its spirit transformed. Battles were no longer about destruction, but became platforms for exchange and learning. The matches now focused on the art of combat and strategic intellect, turning the arena into a symbol of collaboration and mutual growth. Years later, even as the Zen Master withdrew from the spotlight, his story continued to inspire. Leaders across the galaxy often quoted his words: "We do not triumph by defeating others. We triumph by overcoming ourselves." One day, Helzer, the former Draxan champion who had faced the Zen Master, returned to Earth. No longer an arrogant warrior, Helzer had become a teacher, passing on lessons learned from his defeat. Together with young warriors from across the galaxy, he trained beneath the mountain where Shalon once meditated. As he looked out at the green planet, Helzer simply smiled. He knew the Zen Master's story was no longer just Earth's, it was a universal tale of unity, learning, and the will to surpass all limits. For generations to come, the story was told not merely as legend but as a guide to life. A new civilization was built, not on conquest but on harmony. Earth, once a forgotten speck, had become the heart of a united galaxy. The Zen Master's journey reminded everyone: every limit, no matter how great, can be overcome if we find balance between the mind, body, and the world around us.